Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of By All Means. I'm so excited for this episode right here because we're going to be discussing the love of my life, something that means so much to me. But without much further ado, my bro, introduce yourself, man.
What's going on? My name is Tyrese Johnson Fisher. Literally just fresh off the back of competing in the NFL International Combine, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, man. Well, how is it? Like, how was the combine? Talk us through the experience of being in the combine, being an NFL prospect.
I guess it's weird. This time last year, I was in America at a junior college, and it's just insane because playing JUCO football basically similar to Last Chance U, same as Last Chance U, really. And
I didn't know you went JUCO.
yeah, I was in the JUCO last year. So I
Okay.
did D1, but I was in the JUCO last year.
How was JUCO? Like, is it as intense as it looks like when you watch Last Chance U? Are the coaches as nuts as is in the last? I feel like Last Chance U, it was exaggerated, didn't it?
Yeah.
But is it just as intense?
You know what? I'd say they are intense. They're cool, but I guess at the end of the day, everyone needs to win. So the hours that we're in are crazy. Like even, for example, we'd have a game on a Thursday. We got to be in the gym at like 5:30 a.m. on a Wednesday. And just like throughout the preseason, season, the timings were just insane. And coming from a professional environment, because I was playing professional rugby, and coming from professional rugby straight into a junior college, as well as going D1 before, it's just like, wow, this is like,
So even coming from a professional background, was it still something you had to adapt to?
I had to adapt to it because in the professional environment, I don't want to say you get babied, but you get everything in front of you.
Okay.
And I guess in the JUCO, you don't necessarily get that. It's
It's a struggle.
it's not, I don't want to say struggle because,
I mean, because I'm looking at it from a perspective of a D1.
yeah,
The step down from a D1 to a JUCO, bro, it's crazy. The locker rooms, the rooms that they get, the food that they get, like it's a massive step down.
100%.
But before we get into that, I want to play a little game that I like to do with people that come, and that's called this or that. So I'm gonna give you two things, and you just choose which one you prefer in it.
Cool.
First one's pretty straightforward: United States or United Kingdom.
United States.
I respect that.
Easy.
Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
Lamar Jackson.
I appreciate that. If you had said anything else, I would like we would have
We're
ended
off,
this.
innit?
We would have ended this right here. Rugby or football?
Football.
Okay. Jay-Z or Nas?
Jay-Z. Hove, baby.
Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
Tom Brady.
Fun night out or a quiet night in?
Quiet night in.
Okay. Steak or lasagna?
Steak.
Okay. Lavish lifestyle. So of course we're gonna talk about football.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the sport we love so much, the sport that you're obviously trying to get into, the sport I'm obviously trying to get into, but in a different aspect. But tell us about yourself first. Tell us where you grew up. Tell us about your come up. Who's your biggest, like? Obviously, I know you and your mum are close. So let's talk about you first. Tell us about Tyrese.
Tyrese. So I grew up
Forget
in
TJ, the NFL running back.
TJ, the NFL running.
Put that to the side. Tell us about Tyrese.
So I grew up in South London, grew up in Croydon.
Okay.
And we kind of got to that point where we kind of realized that growing up in South just wasn't going anywhere. And people around us were just basically not in great situations. So my mum didn't want me to replicate some of their situations. So she gave me the opportunity to move to Dubai. And we lived in Dubai for about 3 years, played football out there. And funny enough, I was playing academy ball for Maradona's like youth team. So he was basically the head coach of the first team. And then basically just from there, we decided, I was playing rugby. Actually, let me even rewind. I was playing rugby a little bit because one South African family said, hey, you're fast, you play football, why don't you just jump in? So we started playing football, started playing rugby as well. And then we realized, that what I was doing out there in Dubai could only take us so far. So came back to England and was offered an opportunity to go to a boarding school on a full scholarship. And that was just insane. Like coming
Is that for rugby, yeah?
for rugby and athletics. Because like coming from a rugby background, but even more so coming from a South London background, you just never really thought that boarding school was real. You never really thought that it was an option as well, especially none of my family went. So to go there and just be in a whole different environment, it was so humbling because you're so like naughty, you get in trouble all the time, and you're trying to figure how to maneuver in this totally different space that we're not taught how to maneuver in. So I guess that did teach me a hell of a lot. And what did help me was the fact that I was good at rugby and I won a national championship for 100 meters. So that did basically help me a hell of a lot. And I just got to the point where track was going really, really well, but so was rugby. I was playing academy rugby. Then I got offered to play for Crystal Palace for football. And so like I just had so many
So
options.
you were a footballer as well.
Well, I played every sport, man.
So you know what it is with these athletes, and it like even when you read about some of the best athletes, because I was doing a Randy Moss article recently, right? And bro done everything. Like,
Everything, bro.
When you're an athlete, you're just an athlete. You know what I'm trying to say? You don't find anyone that's just good at one sport. Obviously, I understand American football and rugby, like they translate heavily. Where did your love for football initially come? I mean, sorry, your love for sport initially come from? Was there inspiration? Was it that you just found out that you were good at it and then you're like, you know what, let me just run with this? Or like, was there a love for the sport?
You know what? It was kind of when I was about 10. So my mom used to basically force me to play football. She bought all the channels, bought Sky Sports, paying crazy money. And I hated football. Like I made my mom get rid of the channels because, bro, I wasn't watching it. And then basically, for some reason, one summer, maybe 2009, 2010, I was just kicking ball on my estate, man. Like every single day, every morning, every evening, just kicking ball.
It's always just that one summer.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I know bare guys that I went to school with. At the end of school, they were dead, and
That's
they
what
come
I'm
back
saying.
next summer, and everyone's just a baller. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah,
Bro.
Carry on, sorry.
No, you're good. And then I was just kicking ball in the estate. Next thing you know, I was traveling, say, 3 hours to go to football games, not given an opportunity to play. Next thing you know, boom, I'm starting, and I'm scoring all sorts of goals. And I don't understand how you can literally go from being a rubbish football player to just really, really good. And that was me. And then from there, I realized, you know what? I'm actually good at this. So it's kind of fun. Then I kind of got to that point where I was about 15 and I was, actually, no, let me rewind. I got to that point where I was 11. I was playing rugby and then I realized, you know what? I've gone to England and I've done really, really well on a sports store that we were doing in Dubai. And then at 13, went to South Africa, done really well. And it was, if I can do this at some of the top places in England and South Africa, then I can make it in this sport. And even football, you know, we had a game against Liverpool and Everton when I was about 13, and I bagged a brace against them and just ripping them up. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm 100% like ready for this. Like this is my path.
So it was football at first.
It was football at first.
Football.
It was football at first, 100%. 100%.
Okay, fair. And then obviously you transitioned from football to rugby.
Yeah, transition from football to rugby.
But I'm guessing even when you were bagging at football, you were probably still playing rugby. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I was playing like every day. I felt sorry for my mom. Like, bro, I'm saying I used to have sport Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Weekends are game days, isn't it?
Sunday was off.
Okay.
Like I used to have game day on Thursday and Friday in Dubai because Thursday's a weekend.
Okay.
And it was just insane. Like every day I was training, every day I was playing. And I just realized, yeah, this is 100% for me.
So let's talk about your viral video, right? Obviously, that was, how is it being a 15-year-old and having that much attention, that kind of, did you realize how big that video had gone? Or for anyone that doesn't know what the video is, by the way, we're going to put it in the edits. Because I'm sure every person that's in the UK has seen that video. We were talking about it before we opened up as well. But like, talk me through your feelings at the time. Talk to me about, obviously as a 15-year-old, do you realize how big that video is? Do you realize the opportunities that video can obviously open for you?
Good question. That video was insane. Like, everybody looks at it and they go, what an opportunity. But you're 15 and you've got grown men in your DMs telling you how bad you are. You've got guys who you played with telling you this, telling you that. And it was the most humbling thing I've ever had in my life, to be honest, because I was forced to grow up fast. I was 15. I had sponsorships with Adidas, Optimum Nutrition, Red Bull, some really, really big companies. And you've not made it, but people are telling you made it. So you're trying to stay humble whilst you're getting all this hate. I'm telling you, when I was 15, I've never had something like that, even to this day. That experience was just insane, especially when, as a kid, you never know how far you can take it because you always have the aspirations of being able to go viral and be able to be appreciated for your talent. And even back then, 2015, like being viral, going viral just wasn't really a thing. And so I guess being the first in that rugby scene to go viral, it was a humbling experience, but it was just insane. Like even that first day, like I was in school play, I was in everything at school. And so basically I'm sleeping, I wake up, I'm seeing like 1 million messages. It's like 30 minutes in, I'm seeing like 50,000 views. Hour in, I'm seeing 1 million views. This is Facebook times. And like everybody, even people from Dubai I've not spoken to, family I've never spoken to in my life. Have you seen you gone viral? Have you seen this video? And it was insane.
The video was nuts though. You got like, even looking back at it now, you got to realize that it's crazy.
It's it's crazy, but then
like, being able to do that at 15. You know what I'm trying to say? Like everyone there's the same age, but like it literally looks like a man against boys.
To be fair, I was doing that every week though.
Okay.
It was just that game was the only one that was televised.
Okay.
And another one, like I must have scored like 50 plus tries in that season. Like I've even had one game, I think I scored about 7 tries. Like I was just scoring.
But it just wasn't televised.
It just wasn't televised.
Okay.
So I guess it was the first time I got televised. And as well, you're 15, like everybody has something negative to say. Like, bro, I've never like put that video out. And especially with that video, it's like I was never a rugby player. I was always an athlete that played rugby, and I was always a track athlete that played rugby. So I knew what I could do, but then when you get told what you are, especially as a kid, it takes a while to get out of that mindset. So it's taken me a while, but it's crazy looking back at it.
What were some of the things that people were saying to you?
You're not good enough. You'll never make it.
How can you watch that video and say you're not good enough at it? People are weirdos, bro.
People are weirdos. You don't pass. You don't do this. You don't do that. It's just like, bro, I had one thing that I got told from the coach: get the ball and run. So if I ain't going to pass, you ain't my coach. You ain't see what's on the field.
And I feel like in that aspect, rugby is just the easiest sport to, if you're an athlete, to just kind of be good at, in my opinion.
It depends,
Obviously, I'm not going to compare it to the NFL because like I've had genuine fights with people comparing NFL to rugby, and I'm not trying to hear it. Just a simple, like a simple comparison. Like with the NFL, you can't just get the ball and run straight. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You need to know what gap you're going through.
True.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
True.
But with rugby, you get tossed the ball backwards and then you just run into spaces.
Still got to catch it though.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to catch it in a pitch or a toss as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But anyway, forget that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So, talk to me about the transition from rugby to the NFL, and not necessarily a transition athletically, but a transition in mindset. Were you an NFL fan before that? Like before the opportunities came about, or did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Was it a decision that you made with your family?
So when I was 15, actually straight after that video went viral, I got hit up by a few places, high schools. And at 15, it didn't make sense to go to America to play American football because it's like, bro, I'm 15, I've lived in England for 1 or 2 years at this point again. So am I going to leave England, leave my mum, and go out there by myself? Made no sense. But then I guess when I went back into it, when I actually decided to go into it full time in 2017, I was learning about it. I had an opportunity, I spoke to a couple of people, and an opportunity presented itself. And I guess with it, it just made sense to go down that path because it just suited me. It suited my personality, it suited my athleticism. to a T. But then it's taken me 5 years now to really understand what I'm doing.
So that was my next question actually. Do you regret not taking the opportunity to go to high school back then?
I don't regret anything in this life.
Okay, not regret, but would you say you would have a better chance at getting to the NFL if you had taken the opportunity to go to high school in America?
Well, I believe I would have got to the NFL sooner
Okay.
because I don't feel as if I'm too far off. Because if all of this combine stuff goes well and I'm able to show what I can do next year, if I do get the opportunity, then I guess that's a different conversation and we are in the NFL. But I guess I would have definitely been given the opportunity sooner, but then every opportunity has helped me learn something about myself that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't have gone through this path. And I guess, having the opportunity to play professional rugby, I would never have had that if I had gone to taken an opportunity earlier. So then,
so that obviously all of these things help because obviously a lot of people when they get into the NFL, they've never been a professional before. They've never been around veteran athletes. They don't know how to deal with that. So obviously you'll probably have that advantage. Fingers crossed when you do get into the NFL. The scholarship opportunities that you got.
Yeah.
How did they come about? Did they just hit you up? Because okay, wait, little timeline. Let's go for a timeline.
Go ahead.
So 2017, you started learning about the sport.
Yeah.
Were you playing for a team in the UK?
No, because I was going to do the Unrun All America game.
Okay.
That was in the beginning of 2018.
Okay.
And
so you were invited to play in the All American game?
Yeah, that was lit. That was like
okay,
top 100 players in America.
Of course. School. And then from there, you got the scholarship opportunities.
Yeah.
Where universities hit you up.
Well, I actually got the place that I went to, Coastal Carolina. They actually offered me a scholarship before the game because they liked the idea of it and they wanted to poach me in before they knew some of the other schools.
All right, but obviously some of the offers you had were absolutely incredible. Texas A&M, anyone that knows anything about NFL, Texas A&M is a big school. Some of the names that went there: Von Miller, Myles Garrett, Mike Evans. Some of the best players in the NFL right now. How do you not choose to go to a school like that and choose to go to a school like Coastal Carolina, which is also still a very good school? I mean, obviously, as we spoke about this before, Isaiah Likely is currently playing in the NFL for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
He wasn't a high draft pick, but he's an absolute baller. So there's obviously good players that come out of there and players make it to the NFL on a regular basis from there. But obviously, when you get an opportunity to play Texas A&M, what goes through your mind in terms of making that decision?
Well, I guess at the point when I was just getting into the sport, I didn't really know too much about it. I was very much a person that tried to trust people around me because if you don't know anything, you've got to trust the people around you to help you and give you that guidance. I guess I was very close to going to Kentucky. That was where I was very, very close to going. School in SEC, big school. Love Kentucky.
Another massive school.
Massive school. But then I guess I enjoyed my visit at Coastal because they flew my mum and I out and she loved it as well. Also, I guess with Coastal, it was an up-and-coming program. And now that you've seen in 2020, I think they went undefeated. And they've slowly began to be the program that they've always been capable of being. So I guess at the time, the motivation to be part of the team that got this new FBS team into being a powerhouse, in college football.
So you were attracted to the journey and
it sounded exciting, and especially me being a new player, it made sense to be part of that journey. It made sense, but I guess everything happens for a reason. Our head coach left, and it just changed everything else. But at the end of the day, I'm still happy with what I've done, and I'm happy with where I've.
So you didn't play much, I'm guessing, at Coastal Carolina.
You know what? I was unlucky. I was so unlucky. I was on a depth chart for one of the games, and I remember I was so excited because we had like an 11-man deep roster for my position.
Okay.
You go in, I see my name on the what's it called?
The depth chart.
On the depth chart, I'm thinking, boom, this is me. Next thing you know, next day my back starts hurting.
Oh, them ones there, bro.
You don't really. Like, God, like, you know what I'm saying? Help me, like, bro. I was so upset because I didn't even expect to have an opportunity. But I was straight on that depth chart. My back started hurting. I was out for like 2 or 3 weeks. And so you just move straight back down the depth chart. So
That's
it's peak.
heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. So after that, you went to JUCO.
So after that, 2019, I ended up going to playing professional rugby in Bristol Bears. And that was just another experience.
Okay.
Professional sport, you just can't compare it, especially rugby, because you grow up in school, all of your friends, you all grow up together wanting to be professional rugby players, and then seeing, you know, the guys that you grew up watching on TV and they're your teammates, some of that stuff's insane. Like, literally, your rivals become your enemy. Whatever, that enemies become your rivals.
Your idols become your rivals.
That one, yeah, that one. So I guess it is insane when you look at it like that.
So back to the NFL. You were at the combine last week, as you said. Talk us through the experience. How do they select who goes to the combine? Do you have to apply? Do they reach out to you? And what's the competition like? Do you know what it is? Every time, because obviously when you watch the NFL combine, you're always thinking, everyone seems all friendly in that. But like, it's not about I don't like you. It's just like, it's a competition.
You know what? It's different now. Because
Talk me through that.
with all of us, so let me even rewind, right? The whole process for this is to get players an opportunity to go on the training camp for internationals only from January till about March. And then they train you up to get you prepared for the opportunity to do a sort of pro day in front of all 32 NFL scouts. And then they get to decide what they want to do with you. So they selected 44 of us from around the world. And then they basically decide out of those 44 who they want to bring forwards and go to the training camp. So they bring about 12 to 15. So at this point, well, we're not even competing with each other. We're all just trying to get a spot. At the end of the day, everybody knows that everybody's in different situations. Some guys have never played before, so you're being scouted simply for your potential. Some guys have been playing for years. Some guys haven't had an opportunity yet. So I guess everyone's situation is so different. Okay. And there's no rivalry, bro. Like when I was there last week, zero rivalry.
When do you find out if you've been selected to the
end of the month?
Bro, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I got a little quiz for you. Obviously, I've done a little bit of research.
Yeah.
Your 4-4 time.
Yeah.
Well, your 40 time was 4-4-7. In this past year's NFL draft, what place do you think you would have ranked out of all the running backs that ran a 40?
So, how many run this year? I think it was 38.
38 running backs.
38 running backs. Out of 38, I reckon 12.
Give me 2 more guesses.
Okay. I'm going to go out of 38.
Bear in mind, the highest was 4-3-7.
Oh my gosh, I'm tripping. Yeah, no, I think I saw this actually earlier. I think it's 7th.
7 running backs ran faster than you.
Yeah.
At this year's NFL Combine.
Yeah.
Only 7. Including James Cook.
Yeah.
Including Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
And they're currently got starting jobs.
Sure.
Brian Robinson's probably going to start for the Washington Commanders this week.
Sure.
I forgot his name, the one that plays for Kansas City. Number 10. Pacheco.
Serious.
He's their kick returner, their punt returner. He had more touches than Clyde Edwards-Helaire in their last game.
Sure.
So your 4-4 time is really, really up there. And before that, you were telling me you'd even run your best 40.
Well, I'm not a 4-4 guy, man. We just finished the season, bro. I've played a full season this year. Finished the season I had a final in, I think, was it the end of August. Then literally after that final, 2 days before the final, we get told that that we were invited to the combine. That's how the process works. They basically just find out some information about you, and then they come to the realization, they come to terms with who they want to select and whatnot, send everyone an email, and you just get this like pretty cool email. We're invited to NFL International Combine. It's pretty cool. So get that little email
outside.
Get that little
Let's
email.
go.
The cheers are going, and then you just come to and then basically just had to start training for it straight after the season. So that's why it was like, just finished the season. I wish I had a little bit more time because
Just to prepare. Okay.
Because like there were so many things to prepare for, man. You got to get strong, and in season, I go to the gym once or twice a week because I'm trying to maintain. I'm not trying to do anything else other than
Off season
injury
where you're
prevent.
trying to.
Off season, I'm in that baby like 5 to 6 times a week. But in season, all injury prevention. So I'm very durable. I'm very durable. So that's why we do like focus on all that stuff.
We pray that continues. But
Thank you. Yeah, no, 100%. But I guess that's why it was just changing and getting my body used to the training program. Like I was having four protein
so they
shakes
gave you.
a
So they
day.
told you to come to the combine with a week's notice.
4 weeks notice.
4 weeks notice.
4 weeks
Okay.
notice. But it was literally 4 weeks ago I played a national final as well. So it was a lot to kind of get yourself ready.
You were playing in Istanbul, innit? You were playing
Played
for
in Istanbul.
How's American football in Istanbul and Europe in general?
You know what?
What's the standard?
Standard's good.
Obviously, because you played D1. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
It's different. Everywhere is different. And that's the funniest thing. I'd say so in D1, you have a lot of talented athletes. And everyone's been coached to a really, really good standard. In JUCO, like everybody's trying to get out. So people hit. Like them boys hit hard.
Of course.
And they don't care. Like them boys will go for your knees. Like last year, I had a helmet straight to my MCL and that bad boy hurt. Damn. And then I say in the ELF, it's just different because guys haven't had that level of coaching that, say, a college football player will have. But you still have a lot of guys that are damn good and would potentially start on some really, really, really good college football teams. So it's a very good standard. It's just different because everything's not second nature. You've not grown up playing the sport. So it's very, very different.
Cheeky one. Do you like special teams? Do you like playing on special teams?
Yeah. I can play
Really?
special teams.
See, that's how you know someone's not serious, you know, or someone just doesn't care for their health, bro. Like, bro, special teams. Obviously, because I played American football to a much, much lesser level and a much lesser degree than you in it, and I always try to avoid special teams as much as possible. I just never.
Nah,
liked
you've
it.
got to, because I guess when I went D1, you really understand and appreciate the value of special teams because you don't go in starting. Like you go in trying to get yourself in, and that is through special teams because you have to show the coach that you're
Bro,
reliable.
I mean, to be fair, bro, even in the NFL, you notice these things, right? Where players need to do well on special teams to get an
100%.
opportunity to play in a starting lineup. Like, you can be very, very talented, for example, but until you're doing well on special teams, the coaches will notice you. One player that I remember that was only on special teams, obviously I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, is Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was always on special teams, right? And he'd come in like the fourth quarter of preseason games where it's literally the bottom of the bottom. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But then in the regular season, you only see him in special teams. You see this guy as a gunner making a tackle on the 5-yard line, for example, stopping the ball within from punt coverage. He's stopping the ball within the 10, and then eventually he's getting little trick plays like little tosses and end arounds and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Or he'll be rewarded with I remember this. It was the last game of the season. He had a fake punt. He converted a fake punt, and then the next season he's receiving for 900 yards. So it's that development from special teams into a starter that's always. So obviously if you're playing football at a high level, you always, you need to be good on special teams.
You need the special teams element, and I guess as well, coaches look at it as who can I trust? Who's going to give me absolutely everything, and give absolutely everything for this team. And as well, you build a respect to your teammates because your teammates see you putting in that work on special teams. You're making plays. Like football has 3 different phases, bro. Like you got offense, defense, and special teams.
People don't realize how much special teams can win you and lose you games.
Can win you
it's
a
not
game.
just kicking, by the way, because obviously kicking is a big part of special teams. But just like, bro, punting is such an bro. Field position is so important, bro.
It is.
Like there's a massive difference between putting the ball in the 10 or getting a touchback.
100%.
Because a touchback is 20. You're starting where you're normally supposed to start. You start in the 10. Like your playbook is very, very small and it's very, very limited. You know what I'm trying to. You feel me? Because like there's an opportunity to get safety, which is a very, very rare, rare thing to happen. Obviously you're a running back. Talk a bit to be better at NFL. Number one, what team do you support?
I'm a Steelers fan.
Steelers.
Yeah.
Can always respect that. You can never really disrespect the Steelers. You know what I'm trying to say?
Can't disrespect the Steelers
Can't
at
disrespect the Steelers. There's a bad boy running back playing for your team right now as well. Big Najee Harris.
I've been a Najee Harris fan for a while.
Bro, I remember watching his videos from high school.
Yeah.
Same as yours.
Serious.
And Facebook days. You see this guy, and then obviously you went to Alabama, and this guy's such a do it all back. Who's your pick for MVP this year?
Jalen Hurts, man.
That's crazy.
Jalen Hurts, man.
Crazy, bro. I know there's some people that say this, but I don't see it.
I don't see what you don't see, because if you want to talk about respect, if you want to talk about determination, never giving up, commitment, leadership, Jalen Hurts has it all, bro.
Facts, but these are all intangibles that a quarterback and a leader needs. Fair enough, innit? But in my opinion, the talent on the field,
and he's performing this season.
100% he's performing. But when you look at the top of that MVP category of people that are going to be there all the time, you got the Lamar Jackson, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allen's, bro. He's not on that level, bro.
Yes, he is.
Huh?
Yes, he is.
Sorry?
Yes, he is.
Well, yes, he is, or just this year
He's on that level.
I don't. Come on, bro.
He's on that level.
I'm going to need to see a little bit more than just 5 games against not too good teams.
At the end of the day, you're judging it by what does he do at the season that you're asking him to do it. In 2022, he's done everything you want him to do and more. And he's winning games.
I can't disagree with you. And obviously, like, you play the sport in it, so obviously these things like leadership, determination, doing what you like, being a leader of your locker room, that's obviously going to mean a lot to you than just a fan like me who's just watching the spiral and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
You see the difference though, because
I think he's improved significantly.
It's not even that. You see the difference between the way players don't give up on their routes, the way players 50-50 balls.
They're winning it.
They're trying to win it because they don't want to give him an interception on his record. So you see the difference, and that's where being a leader, you see with some of these quarterbacks, especially Jalen Hurts, man, they play for him, bro.
It's true. I mean, especially transitioning from Carson Wentz, who's a quarterback I like a lot. I think he's probably got more arm talent than Jalen Hurts, but you can just see that these Eagles are like, bro, even their center, Kelsey, like the way he speaks about Jalen Hurts, like everyone's just so in awe of the guy.
Same.
And me personally, I need to start like I need to start rating him a little bit more. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I need to start rating him a little bit more. Fair enough. So you're saying he's your favorite to win MVP this year?
100%.
So you're saying he's going to carry this on for an entire 17 games?
I don't see why not.
That's crazy.
What's going to stop him?
That's a very, very good point. I mean, their schedule is going to get a bit harder. Do you know what it is? I want to see him in games against teams that can go toe-to-toe with him. Like, I want to see him against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to see him against some of these AFC teams, because I think the NFC is a joke this year. Not a joke, but I think the NFC is significantly less competitive than the AFC, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think there's about 7-8 teams that can win it in the NFC, and none of them are elite.
Who's your top 2?
In the NFC? Tampa Bay, obviously. Probably Philadelphia right now.
Probably.
Most likely.
They're the best team in the NFL right now.
Because right now, bro, you take Philadelphia and you put them against Baltimore or Buffalo or Kansas City or even the LA Chargers, it can go anyway.
Stop it. The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now.
Yo, we're going to come back to this, bro. We're going to tap in. I'm gonna make, like, bro, I don't wish bad on the brother, innit? Like, I just think there's guys that are better.
So you're here.
Not at all. I would like to see more.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay.
And obviously you're a running back. So give me your top 5 running backs. It doesn't have to be in order. Give me your top 5 running backs in the league.
Right now. I'd say this is based on how I like to play.
Okay.
DeAndre Swift.
Bad boy. Okay. All right.
Nick Chubb.
Of course.
Dalvin Cook.
So you like your shifty brothers?
Gotta be shifty, man.
You like your quick out.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my gosh. What's his name? Damian Pierce.
Okay.
at the Texans. Woo, he's so cold.
So is your favorite, or who do you think is the best? Do you think the best, the top 5 running backs in the league?
I'm saying my favorites.
Okay.
I'm saying my favorites. Just
Okay.
just for what I like to watch.
Okay.
And Saquon, bro.
All right.
And Saquon. Those 5.
Fair enough. Because I thought because when I asked him initially, I was like, okay, who's your top 5 best? And I was expecting to hear names like Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor.
I think you can judge it like that though, because even so.
But bro, as soon as you said DeAndre Swift, I was like, I know where this guy's going with it.
Yeah.
I was like, I know where this guy's
But
going.
even so, DeAndre Swift should be in everyone's top 5. Like,
I think so.
he's turned what he used to do at Georgia into the NFL.
So I think the top 5, undisputedly, I think Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. The other 2, it can change from any week. I think the top 5 can pretty much change from week to week, innit? Yeah. And Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley.
So Alvin Kamara, I'd put him in my top 5 as well.
I was trying to say, obviously, you said DeAndre Swift as well. It's just, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's just, bro, even J.K. Dobbins, if you want, sometimes. I feel like the running back position is so disrespected in the league.
They don't respect us.
So disrespected in the league.
They don't respect
us,
bro.
I feel like Le'Veon Bell has to take a bullet for the rest of the.
My favorite running back.
Really,
that's who taught me football. Watching him.
I was actually gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you 2 questions. Who's your favorite, and who do you learn the most from? Obviously, you've answered that as Le'Veon Bell. Who's your player comp? I know players don't like answering this question. And most players like yourself are going to say, I've got a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that. But if there's one player, it can be all time, that you compare yourself to, who would it be?
I'm trying, because I can only say what I'm trying to be like. That's all I can say.
Okay, fine. Who are you modeling your game around, at least?
At the beginning of my football career, it was Le'Veon Bell. But now, Alvin Kamara. He's just a typical... Not typical, that's disrespectful, but he is the definition of a 2022 running back. He can just do everything. And he does it at such a high level. And he just makes the game look easy. And that's the sort of level that you want to be in sport, where, you can watch some of these guys. Even, no matter what sport it is, right? If there's one thing you can say about some of the best players, they make it look so easy. You look at guys like Daniel Carter in rugby, guys like Kevin De Bruyne, Tiger Woods, they don't look like they're trying. Alvin Kamara, because it's just their level, the IQ, the level of which they play at is at such a high level, nobody can stop him. And that's the sort of level I'm trying to be at, man.
No, I respect, bro. Alvin Kamara, I feel like Alvin Kamara's slept on, but I mean, him and Saquon Barkley, they struggle to stay healthy, man. I feel, and it's such a taxing position to play as well. How do you try to stay healthy? How do you try to keep your body as durable as possible?
I do a lot of massages. I'm in a sauna a lot. I've tried to eat healthy. Man, my diet has definitely made a massive difference with my durability. In the preseason, we don't even lift big, heavy weights anymore, because when I was younger, the focus was, let's get big, let's get strong, let's just, run over people. But now it's, let's stay on the field, because you don't get paid to lift weights. You get paid for what you do in the field. So you need to get to that level where what you do in the weight room, all it does is just complement what you do in the field. So the focus really is trying to make sure the weights, the durability, more so the movement stuff, the activation stuff is all done. So before practice, before practice, it helps me go into practice ready, and after practice, we're doing our cool downs, we're doing the important stuff just to kind of make sure everything's all ticking.
Talk to me about a daily routine in the off season, for example. Obviously, there's no such thing as an off season for an athlete. So, what's your daily routine? Like, what time would you wake up? What would you eat? What workouts would you do? Are you in the gym? Are you in and out of cones? Like, talk me through your routine.
So, I'd usually wake up about 8 o'clock, have a hot drink, maybe a coffee, maybe a green tea at about 8:15. Leave home. Actually, no, hold on. protein shake at about 8:45, leave home by about 9:15, if that's correct, and then get to practice, have a protein shake before, well, during practice, and that's still in the warm-up. That warm-up would probably be like an hour, and then
This is with your team.
this is off-season, so this was like me training.
Oh, okay. Also, when you say practice, you mean like by yourself?
Yeah, by myself,
Okay,
or
okay.
well, usually with a coach.
All right, cool.
Usually with a coach, so I have that protein shake during, and then maybe so probably start off with some field work. That'll probably take about an hour, really, really chilled. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you need to get fit. Yeah, you need to be able to move well, but the focus is on movement. And we need to be, like, I'd say perfect more so at some of the things. So the focus really is on trying to move rather than just moving for the sake of it. Then after a couple of hours, so maybe about 12, so if that's 9, probably about 11, that's when we'll start finishing up, going to the gym, have another protein shake, and then for a couple of hours, maybe about an hour and a half, be in that gym, and then 30 minutes at the end, we'll just do like a nice little cool down, maybe jump in the pool, some recovery, and then get home, usually about 3, 4, have another protein shake, and then
You live in protein shakes, isn't it?
man, it's crazy. Intermittent
I mean,
fasting.
because I'm guessing also you don't really eat much.
So then I eat, and then when I eat, I'll eat 2 hours after that last protein shake, an hour after the last protein shake, and then after that, snacking in the middle of it, and then another meal. So like I'll have like 2 massive meals, lots of protein, a lot of veggies, but it's just different.
Do you have a nutritionist that helps you with this, or is it something that you've kind of figured out works for your body best? Because obviously people do it differently.
I've got a nutritionist.
Okay.
So we get like some of that stuff just basically just told what to eat and just follow a program also.
Question, kind of a bit off topic. How good are you at the backfield in terms of catching?
I've been trying to get better at it.
Okay.
I make my catches. I say the last 2 teams that I've played with, they've seen that I can move out the backfield, so they've definitely tried to change some of the way we play and have tried to get me in the passing game more.
Because there's nothing more valuable right now than a 3-down back
100%.
that can be there all 3 downs, and you don't realize how important it is having a wide receiver. I mean, sorry, a running back that you can have in the passing game, because it's an extra player schematically that you need to account for in the passing game. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And because he's in the backfield, it's just so difficult to mirror, because you can just be audible to go to the other side, or you can be audible to go to the slot, and it's just a nightmare. So if you can catch, it just takes your stock to the next level. What is the best characteristic that you have as a football player? So would you say it's your patience, your speed, your burst, your hands?
I'd say it's my ability to make people miss.
Okay.
Because people always saying they have me, bro. Like, people always saying they have
One of them was where they're just grasping the air.
just grasping the air, bro. Like, I guess that's the thing.
Yeah.
Where I basically got it from rugby. It's just the ability to beat people. I look at beating people like a mind game. Like, it's you versus I. I'm telling you where to go, and I'm gonna go the opposite way. So I have that mental control. So that's where.
Or you could just do what Derek Henry does: go where they go and just push them away.
You can do that, but then if you think I'm gonna make you do that, and then
You be prepared for it.
I gave you a little boom boom, you look silly. So
it's true.
We mix it up, innit? You can never do the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta give people something different each time. But it just makes it fun, man, because even when guys are tackling, you just have a little joke like, got you, bro. And he'll be like,
of course.
You got me, but then he hits you, it's like, damn.
You must love them Oklahoma drills, innit?
You know what? I love it, bro. Just running through people.
Yeah.
Like, that is fun. Getting better at it, because if there's one thing that's different between rugby and American football, is the way you hit people.
The tackling.
Well, tackling, but definitely as a ball carrier, the way you run into people. Because I guess in rugby, everything's usually a lot lower,
And it's more wrapping up.
more rappy.
It's less violent.
Well, it's violent, but just at different areas. American football, when you truck, it's not like you lead with your head, but you go down to up. Rugby, you go up to down. So getting used to that is the hardest part. So learning how to truck has been hard, but definitely have got better at it.
I know all running backs have this stat in their head. How many times have you fumbled and lost it?
I'm not sure, to be fair. How many times have I fumbled and lost it?
I'm hoping it's not that many.
I had a bad first year, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. The adjustment's nuts because the thing with rugby and American football is you hold the ball differently. So get this ball right. In a rugby ball, you're holding it like this. I can't even do this. It's just spilled, but you're holding it like this, right?
But with an NFL ball, you hold the tip between
You're
your
holding
fingers.
the tip, and so in rugby, the change of position isn't as important because you're always changing position. Then in American football, that ball is so important. So certain things just don't come to mind. And because rugby is so continuous, so fast, people aren't trying to knock the ball out. It's technically a penalty, I'm pretty sure. But I guess in American football, guys are coming in,
literally trying to punch the ball out, grabbing the ball, pulling the ball. So it's very, very different. The transition is difficult. And as I was saying, I do think like NFL is just a much harder sport to play.
You know what though? I'm not even sure because like professional rugby is tough, bro. Like the fine skills that you have to learn in a rugby game is so difficult, and the tactics, like they're insane. You go to a line out and you'll have like 4 set plays, all orchestrated after it. You have to be able to perform each skill at a very high level. In American football, you just have to be the master at what your position requires. Rugby, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. So it's not that, I don't even think it can be compared, bro. They're so different. And
you're one of the only, I think like you're one of the only people in the world that can actually tell the actual difference, you know what I'm trying to say? Because fans can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
NFL players can't, and rugby players can't. Because rugby players are going to say, hold up.
Everyone's going to say each and another, man, but you just have to respect each other because they're both, like, damn difficult. Like, I remember one of my old coaches, Jamie Taylor, ex-rugby, my ex-rugby coach who Leicester Tigers Academy, and he was saying to me, I promise you, if you go pro in rugby, that will probably be harder than you learning American football. And I was thinking, you got to be joking. Bro, going hard playing professional rugby. So going and playing professional rugby, going as a professional, was tough. Like, you got to catch, you got to kick high balls, your kicking has to go up because you're doing everything at a high level. You can't miss out any skill because that's the thing with it. When you play at that high level, any skill you can't complete, you will get exposed for because someone else can do it to a perfect level. Well, not a perfect level, but to a standard that's very high. And so if you can't tackle, if your game understanding's not good, if your passing's bad, there's so many skills that you need to be able to perform. If you can't do one of them, you'll get exposed.
But at the same time, I think I'm going to defend my sport. At the same time, you say you're a running back and you have to be just a master of one thing.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can't be. You have to be good in the pass game.
Yeah.
You have to have ball security.
Sure.
You have to be able to be elusive. Like back in the day, you could just be an Adrian Peterson where you can literally just run people over. You could just be a Le'Veon Bell that's just very shifty.
Yeah.
But now you look at Alvin Kamara, you look at Dalvin Cook, you have to be playing everything at a very high level. Like, bro, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara are damn near slot receivers. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's not so like the way football is evolving like now is crazy, bro. You got quarterbacks that are running faster than like wide receivers and running backs, bro. You know what I'm trying to say?
4-4.
So Lamar Jackson running a 4-3 damn near. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So so obviously, okay, again, we're not going to compare sports because we'll be here all day. Let's get back to you and obviously the combine. So obviously you said the combine is done now. They're gonna get back to you by the end of the month, and they're gonna let you know if you're gonna go to that pro day. After that pro day, you're preparing for the NFL draft, aren't you?
Well, you're preparing for anything. Teams have 3 choices that they can get you. NFL draft, they can sign you as a UDFA, so not
Undrafted free agent.
Or every NFL team, they get 4 allocated spots every single year to one division usually, and they get to basically get a player that doesn't count against the cap. So you're all basically fighting for one of those spots if it's to get drafted, one of the, so there's so many different ways you can get into the NFL. So it's tough because we're not just competing as internationals, competing with all these other
Every year,
Americans.
there's hundreds of thousands of people that are trying to.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's tough, but it's good because we get the opportunity to get trained at a very, very high level for 3 months. And that's the best training we'll ever have in our lives.
Would you be open if the NFL doesn't work out? Is a backup plan like the CFL, the Canadian, or is it just going to be a European thing for you?
I guess right now, my mind's just on whatever happens. I don't want to rule anything out. I'm not going to be overconfident and think that I've got anything. So it's just whatever God has planned for me, I would just follow in his footsteps.
No, 100%. But obviously the ultimate goal is the NFL, and hopefully you get there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Obviously the first step is that pro day, and hopefully you can show them that you're a 4-2, 4-3 guy. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Bro, you give me 3 months to train and
Be a 4-3 guy. Obviously ball secure. If you can catch, bro, if you're a 4-2 guy, that's a running back that can catch out the backfield. There's a space for you in the NFL, bro.
215 pounds.
Bro, there's a space for you in the NFL.
Has to, bro.
There's a space for you in the NFL. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Hopefully we pray that God gives you that opportunity. We're going to wrap it up with this one. I want your long-term and short-term goals, but I also want you to tell me how you're going to achieve those, or what things do you have in place.
Smart goals.
Yeah.
So I'd say the short term, that's obviously what's first. The short term is getting myself in the NFL. I guess it's just literally going to have to be working even harder than I've worked before, because the way I always see it, whilst you're resting, someone else is working. And especially with us as Europeans and people from outside of America, we're all competing to be at the same level as guys who already had a head start. So
We've been playing in that system, been playing in that sport their entire lives.
Your whole life. So if you've already got a head start on me and you're already first in this race, am I not going to go faster? I need to catch up. So it's just working even harder in the gym, working even harder with some old coaches. It's getting down to understanding the game more. And then also just playing more Madden, man. Like, Madden's a seriously good way.
I tell people this all the time, bro. Playing Madden
Teaches you so much.
Bro, like, I know now, since playing Madden, if you're in cover 3, I just put my slot receiver in a vertical and I'm catching it every single time. I know if you're in a cover 2, there's always going to be a space between the safety and the running back because your cornerback's in the flat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's because of Madden. You feel me? So playing, obviously I watch the game as well, but I'm saying when you're actively controlling it with your controller and you're the one that's calling the audibles and stuff like 100%. That, it makes it so much easier, bro. It makes 100%. It so much easier. So what about long-term goals?
Long-term, for me, I've got so many long-term goals. I'd say...
By long-term, it should be like more 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years. I'd say I believe that I can play in the NFL. So I want to have a career path where you can arguably say that's a Hall of Fame career path. So I want to play. I'm not somebody that just wants to be in the NFL to say, got to the NFL, let's go. Nah, bro, I'm trying to play. Like, I'm here to compete with you guys.
Of course.
I guess, as well, I want to create a sort of pathway for guys coming from the UK to, not create it, but at least help guys that are trying to make it from Europe, especially the UK, and help them with the opportunity to play in America. But then also giving back to my community, bro. Like, I've been humbled enough to have the experiences that I've had, but that was all God. And God gave me some of these opportunities to give back to other people. The voices are voices. And I guess with that, that's most definitely going to come when you have the capital behind you after being in the NFL, because some of the stuff that I want to do, is going to require a lot of money. But there's just so much stuff in this country that doesn't allow our youths to be able to progress in this world. And it's up to us, really, to change it,
To
because
be successful and then be the ones to open doors for.
open doors, because if the doors are shut, how the hell are they going to open? Because these people ain't going to help it. They ain't going to help my own. So definitely that. And long term, I'm going to say short term, I'm going to buy my mum a house, bro. Like, I've seen her struggle, and it's obviously everybody's dream, but for
Every
me, bro,
boy's dream, bro.
everybody's
Every
dream,
boy's dream
bro.
to buy a mama house,
You
bro.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Now, hopefully, this time next year, when you've played a year, you've had your rookie season in the NFL, you've had your breakout year. You know what I'm trying to say? We get that cracking.
bro, God willing, inshallah. That's all I can
Inshallah,
say.
we hope so. We hope so. Last thing, once you make your first Pro Bowl, I'm calling the first interview.
Say less.
Yo, but without much further ado, I think that wraps it up. I feel like we've covered so much, bro. Thank you so much for coming here. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you guys can notice this, but I was super excited asking all of these questions, because like the NFL just means so much to me, and having someone that is trying to make that journey, it's a true blessing, bro. Plug yourself, bro. Where can they find you? Where can they follow your career? Where can they follow you? Chat to them, bro.
So if you hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Tyrese JF9, on YouTube, Tyrese Johnson Fisher, you'll find everything, all sorts of videos, insights, day in the lives. Yeah, we keep it lit.
Yeah, and obviously if you're here, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We're on a new platform now, Skape Entertainment, so make sure you follow the journey. We're going to have more conversations like this, of course. Without much further ado, take care.